Welcome to the new River City Gamers Podcast, hosted by SCXCR and Well Unreal 007, as well as many other members from the River City Gamers website. Stay tuned for all the gaming news, new pickups, and everything else we feel like talking about on the River City Gamers Podcast.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the River City Gamers Podcast 3 months later. I am Zeromaster, filling in for SCXCR.
I am Unreal, back again.
And I'm Undercover Cop, AngelHalo.
And I'm just doing whatever that pleases me, Shadowsnake 123.
I thought you were going to say Border Hopper.
My arrest record is 0 so far, just so you know.
Quick note, reason Zero is filling in for SCR this podcast is he's busy at AngelHalo, which by the time we're recording should be pretty much over, but we're still going to take over regardless, just for this one.
Not to mention, his workload this semester has been crazy, and that's why there's been like a 2-month gap between episodes. So
that, and I didn't feel like doing it.
And I think everybody just forgot. Were the biggest things, like Scott forgot, and he's like, I've had all these other things, so I'm like, but anyways, gaming news.
Gaming news! So real.
Scott threw me a ton of articles, and I picked 6. Yes, he threw me more than 6. So I'm just going to try and go through these as quickly as possible.
Empty those chambers, let's do it.
Alright, so first big one is Uncharted director Richmond leaves Naughty Dog for Riot Games.
I don't even know who Riot Games are.
Me neither.
What have they made? I need to look this up now.
Damn it.
2 months later, we're never prepared.
Riot Games. What have they... They were founded in 2006. Oh, they made League of Legends. They're the League of Legends developer. So, the guy from Naughty Dog, Justin Richmond, who was the director for the Uncharted series.
Well, he directed
3 and 4.
Number 3 and, well, 4, which is...
His statement is, I have in fact made the decision to leave Naughty Dog. I love the company and the people, and I know they will continue to create awesome games going forward. On a happier note, after careful consideration and exploration, I have joined Riot Games. There's some really innovative stuff going on here, and that I can't wait to be a part of. In other words, he probably got offered a ton of money because League of Legends is a free game that makes a ton of money on microtransactions. So, yeah. Now, Riot Games hasn't made any other games. They've just made League of Legends because they don't have to. So this is terrible. Why would you... talk about going to where, talk about going Hollywood. Basically...
Talk about fucking casual.
He's basically... I hope... good riddance, Justin Richmond. I hope you have fun working on the same game for the next 20 years. Yeah. Fuck. This is what happens to talent. They see money and then they jump on it. No.
Yeah, forget, actual quality talent. Let's just, care about the money. That's all we care about.
Whoa,
and let's become
money.
And let's become a starving artist instead. By the way, can I have money?
So, for those of you who actually care about League of Legends, I don't think anybody in this call or most of the people on our site do. This is good for you. This is good for Mike. Our friend Mike Dillon. So,
what a casual. No wonder he's not coming to Angel.
Alright, so the next story I got here is GameStop gives up on building game streaming tech to focus on retail.
They should have done that years ago.
Well, I'll get my thoughts on this in a second. Okay, well here's their official statement. While cloud-based delivery of video games is innovative and potentially revolutionary, the gaming consumer has not yet demonstrated that it is ready to adopt this type of service to the level that is sustainable business can be created around it. We will focus our energy on selling existing services such as PlayStation Now through our retail channels. Okay, so what they're basically saying is, we're not going to make our own streaming service, so instead, we're going to sell things via other services. but this still says they're focused on retail, which GameStop, if they want to survive, they have to get into retail. Because everything's going to the cloud. We might not like it, I don't like it, but that's where everything's going. Physical copies are going to become obsolete within the next 10 years. So if they are still hoping to make their money in stores, they got another thing coming, especially when their competition is everyone else.
Funny thing about it is that I've actually remembered trying out their competitor on live a few years back, and I even got a free micro console. That thing has been collecting dust for 3 years now.
Yeah, you were gung ho about OnLive when it first came out, and I don't think I've heard you mention it like once.
I think there was someone else worse that was gung ho.
Are you sure you're not thinking of someone else? Because I did.
That's what I'm thinking.
I did like the idea, but I honestly only adopted it because there were some interesting sales, and I ended up not playing it afterwards because I have a pretty good internet connection, but no matter how good it is, I just can't seem to get comfortable controls at all when playing cloud-based games.
I had this one session when I tried it that I recorded on stream once where everything was delayed because the net was fucking up.
Yeah,
so I just called OnLive drunk, and then
I have an OnLive account, but I haven't accessed the thing in 2 years. And the only reason I got an OnLive account is because they gave away games like
Deus Ex or
no.
They gave away
Amnesia,
and there was another one, Ninja something. It's like a $5 game now.
Ninja Blade?
Ninja Blade, yeah. And I wanted to try it out, but the only thing I remember is it crashing all the time because it wasn't powerful enough. The biggest thing with streaming for games, anyways, is our internet connections aren't fast enough yet, and they don't have enough servers for it to maintain it. So PlayStation Now might be the first one that actually gets it right. Who knows? But anyways, I think this is both smart and stupid for GameStop. It's like a double-edged sword.
Now, I must mention though, I do recall this one time when Deus Ex Human Revolution did come out, and the PC versions at GameStop actually did have code. Not just GameStop, but all PC copies had codes for the OnLive version included.
Oh,
so basically,
I remember this.
Yeah, so basically you had another copy for free, which is pretty sweet. You try to buy it from GameStop, turns out they opened these copies and took away the codes entirely, and there was a bunch of controversy about this. Probably the only thing I remember with OnLive felt very well.
Because GameStop at the time saw OnLive as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mainly because that was the only time it considered OnLive relevant.
Mm-hmm, but if you think about it, they kind of fall into obscurity, and now I don't hear anything about OnLive. The only thing the last time I've heard of OnLive is right now because we're talking about it.
I think the people who got your log subscriptions to OnLive are probably not going to renew them once they run out, and OnLive's going to unfortunately die. But I mean, it was a little too early for game streaming as they had proved, but I mean, at least they were thinking outside the box. But that's probably what GameStop probably saw that, and they're like, you know what, there's too many competitors, let's just not do this.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on to the next story, and this is the one that Scott said beside it, holy shit, because Double Helix relinquishes Killer Instinct to Iron Galaxy. If you don't know who Iron Galaxy is, they made Dive Kick, and apparently they've done a lot of tweaking for fighting games.
That includes Street Fighter 3 Third Strike for PS3 and 360.
Yeah, they've worked on some Capcom downloadable ports on PSN and Xbox Live. That's pretty much their experience.
So this is good. They know fighters. So, anyways, the official statement is to get to now, take Killer Instinct over and start with this great base and expand it and put new stuff on top of it. Everyone in the company is super pumped up. We can't wait to show people what we're going to be doing down the road. I honestly can't wait either, because I haven't played the new releases of Third Strike, but I have played Dive Kick. For a game about only doing one move, it's a fucking awesome game.
Oh yes. It's a parody fighter, not really meant to be taken seriously, but yet it's so awesome at the same time.
I don't know how they made a game where you do one move amazing, a fighting game. So I'm excited. What about you guys?
technically it's 2 moves as they put it, because you just jump and dive kick.
Jumping isn't really a move, but whatever.
And well, technically there are different characters that can have variations of dive kicking. Like one won't technically connect with a dive kick, instead it will make a lightning strike, which if that connects, that counts as a hit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another character which will jump on his hands and just use his hands to do a dive kick, since it had boots on it.
Regardless, these guys are creative and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, and me and Shadow here actually have played a new Killer Instinct.
Mind if I say my 2 pieces on it?
Well, hold on. We don't want this to go on forever.
Yeah.
But,
well, basically what I can say about the game is that I'm happy that Iron Galaxy is on this game.
Yeah.
Because while it is a respectable effort from Double Helix, I'll admit that right now, Kill Instinct is a good game. I just hate the free-to-play method.
Yeah, same here.
I absolutely hate it. But it's not a bad game. It needs more content. Now, with Iron Galaxy taking over, this could leave a lot of possibilities open up. I'm expecting things to get way better from there. I'm sure it's still going to be that stupid free-to-play model, but hey, at least we know the game is in even better hands.
And when Unreal finally gets an Xbox One, he gets the game for free.
You mean never?
Because you have a high gamer score.
No. Well, I forget how I got that for free. It could have been that. It could have been how long I've had Xbox Live for. I mean, I've had it since...
No, I think it's based on gamer score, because I remember...
No, it was like either or.
Because I told you about it, because I remember, like, people were reporting that people with high gamer score were getting it, and I know that you have a high gamer score, so...
Well, I can't exactly confirm how I got it. It's just, I'm not getting this...
I'm just going to say that you got
given to me.
I'm just going to say you got a free game for being good at video games. Anyways.
That doesn't mean shit.
Anyways.
Okay, mind if I at least say something about it?
Okay.
Okay, well, as Angel said, I don't like the free-to-play method, but I feel that Iron Galaxy can take the game into a right direction.
Yeah.
It would be a lot better without the free-to-play method.
Yeah. Well, I don't like it either, but well, as long as the game's good, like. Let me put it this way, it's not nearly as bad as other free-to-play fighters. Soul Calibur. But yeah, this looks interesting. If I get KI, I'll be just buying the full edition whenever that comes out. Because by that point, I'll have an Xbox One, so...
Yeah, I would just rather wait until everything's released, because I would rather just buy everything in a huge bundle like $60 or something than just to pay bits and pieces of it. It just gets annoying.
Exactly. Anyways, speaking of things that are getting annoying, the VP of Ubisoft has said this about Assassin's Creed. We would be very stupid to ignore fans' need for annual Assassin's Creed. Here's the full statement. We are able to offer people a new Assassin's Creed every year because they want Assassin's Creed every year. As long as this is true, we would be very stupid not to satisfy this need. But it puts a lot of pressure on us to create something that will never disappoint. It needs to keep the series' core values, and we need to really make sure that we have a good high-level understanding of what it is to be an assassin. We have to make sure we always deliver better feel and overall experience every time, while still bringing something new that they haven't seen before that's consistent with being an assassin in the world we've created. We want to be able to provide games to people who are playing on these consoles. This year, and probably the years after, they'll continue to get games every year. And I just want to say, I understand, because the Assassin's Creed series is a new IP from last generation, and it makes a lot of money. However, they're repeating the same mistakes game companies have made with franchises since gaming became franchise based. I mean, my favorite game franchise of all time is Mega Man, and it's been driven into sequelitis 3 times. So, I don't know. I still haven't played the first Assassin's Creed, but I own Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and the other 2 that are in the Brotherhood and Revelations, I think they're called, that are in the PS3 collection. But I just don't want to see a franchise that sounds like it's really good become one of those series like, oh, look, it's Assassin's Creed 12. It hasn't been good since the 4th one. You know what I mean?
So what they're basically saying is it would be very stupid of us to ignore our fans' need for an annual Assassin's Creed release. In other words, we need our own Call of Duty franchise, so let's just pump out a game every year. If anyone from Activision comes says the same thing, it wouldn't really change it at all.
It's like,
because, well, I get it. They're making a lot of money with each year. The game makes a lot of money. People keep on buying it, and you know what? I love the Assassin's Creed series. I haven't played the 4th game yet, but I will someday. But as you mentioned, Zero, the sequelitis thing can happen, and I have noticed some inconsistency in quality with each Assassin's Creed game. 2 was a fantastic game, and so was Brotherhood. Revelation started to downgrade, and Assassin's Creed 3 felt like a pretty substantial downgrade.
Which version of 3 did you play?
Well, admittedly, I did play the Wii U version, which had some improvements, like actually having an independent button with the horse.
I heard that was the best version.
I was unfortunate to play the game before it got patched, because now I can't do 100% on it. Not unless I start a whole new save file anyway.
Right. Well, by the time you go back to it, you'll probably want to anyways, so... I just want to say one thing here, is like, just because, I would say I'd want a new game in a franchise that I like every year, that doesn't mean they should do it, because then, they'll run out of ideas, and they'll just give us the same thing every year.
Basically, if we don't make money, we are stupid.
Essentially what they're saying is so we're gonna make games every year, even if it becomes irrelevant within a couple years. And Assassin's Creed, again, I've heard, as you guys have said, it's a good series, so I don't want to see it, get shat on by being produced every year.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sorry, Shadow.
Is this kind of like this? Is it kind of weird to me to feel this sort of same thing with the Batman Arkham series? I mean, I love the Batman Arkham games, but I love the ones by Rocksteady. But I was very iffy on Arkham Origins. I'm not saying it's a terrible game; it just has a lot of mishaps, and it is the weakest Arkham game in the series, at least in my opinion. And as far as some controversy is concerned,
didn't they just announce a new one too?
Yes, and I don't have a problem with it being on PS4 or Xbox One. That's not the issue here. I just have a problem with it being released a year after Arkham Origins. I feel like that maybe.
But Rocksteady did not touch Origins, so they probably had way more time after City. And it's oh, you don't want to do prequel? Well, we'll just have these guys do it. And all these bugs, not fixing it.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure, I have a confident feeling that Arkham Knight is going to be a lot better than Origins because Rocksteady's working on it. But I just don't want this to become a huge problem with, how Assassin's Creed's going yearly and saying things with Call of Duty every year.
How much more can they do to expand the Arkham franchise? Really? This is the 4th game with the title Arkham in it. It's we get it.
Mm-hmm. The thing, the problem is that Arkham Asylum. It's a common location in the Batman universe. It's a prison, essentially.
And it was also a person, Armadeus Arkham.
Yeah.
And anyways, Angel, you were trying to say something?
I can see where Shadow's getting at here. Now, it's not so much as a problem with the same developer working on it over and over again. In fact, I think that I think the same developer over and over again is the case of the Assassin's Creed games. Do correct me if I'm wrong. So they had a different developer work on Origins, and there was also about a 2-year gap between Asylum and City. So they had plenty of time to think of what to do. Origins comes out because, well, WB Games wants that to happen. So I think the main worry, what Shadow's trying to address here, is that Rocksteady finishes Arkham Knight. Is WB Games going to make yet another Arkham Batman game, or just a Batman game period with the same gameplay, but give it to a different developer and do what Activision does and just have a different developer work on each game,
like the Call of Duty franchise, because each game each year is a different developer.
Not to mention when Arkham Origins came out, there was also that spin-off called Arkham Origins Blackgate.
I heard that was pretty good.
Anyways, we're getting a little off topic talking about the Arkham series now. Basically, I guess our collective thought is only do this, Ubisoft, if you feel you can make the games that good or better every year. If you're not, please give them a couple years. Yeah.
I'd like to have some diversity and difference.
Ubisoft, here's something you can do. The off years you're not releasing fucking Assassin's Creed, maybe make some more Rayman games. No, because Rayman Legends was really great, but you fucking have the consistency to release Origins and Legends in the worst possible times.
That's why they don't sell very well, because you choose terrible low release times.
I think they're doing that on purpose, but who knows. Anyways, alright, second last story I have, I swear. I wish Scott wouldn't have given me so much shit. Okay, Oculus Rift deal closed in 3 days. Some Kickstarter backers want a refund. So, we all know about Oculus being sold to Facebook. And they said that's how accelerated it was. We locked ourselves up in the Facebook HQ and did the deal. I've been through a few of these deals now, and they usually take months. This was done in 3 days. That's incredible. That's their commitment to moving fast. We are moving fast and getting together to make the next computing platform. Goes on to say about Mark Zuckerberg. He was fascinated like other people in the geek community or gaming community. He was really excited about how we were making this thing work. He wanted me to show him a demo at Facebook. I told him there was a better demo down here in Irvine. He was able to hop on a flight down. He met the team, he saw the latest demos, we talked about the vision. The whole thing was about getting more comfortable with each other, and the vision and becoming friends. He and I got to be really good friends, and Palmer met him too. He said, and then he asked, how can I help? How can Facebook help you? We described our roadmap. Then he said, what if we partner with you? You stay the same, stay who you are. You expand the vision focus to other things. Gaming is core, but how can we help invest significantly into the platform, the hardware, and bring down the cost of it? We could make it more optimized, do custom silicone, make it even better. What if we also invested in the parts so you can sell the virtual reality platform at a cost? It would use the best components and build a superior technology platform, then let's sell it at a cost. Basically, anyways, it just goes on to say, because I could read this all day long, is that people were kind of, like, when they found out Facebook pretty much bought them, people got up in arms, and people were demanding, Kickstarter money back from when the project originally launched to Kickstarter. I'm going to say the same thing Rich from Review Tech said. If Facebook says they're not going to do anything with it, whatever. Like, if they're going to leave it alone, fine. But as soon as maybe Facebook will want, like a way you can share your findings on Oculus Rift on Facebook, that'll be it. Like, I think people were being like, oh, only Facebook-centric games and social media is going to be on the Oculus Rift now. I'll be able to play Farmville on my Oculus Rift and nothing more. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think it's more so that they need money to make something and to make it affordable. And Mark Zuckerberg was basically like, I really like this, here's some money. Sort of what Full Screen is doing with Screw Attack. Because, again, another thing, if for those of you who don't know, Full Screen Arcade is now Screw Attack Network on YouTube, so... which I think is good, but anyways, like, basically my 2 cents is, I don't think this is going to change anything, really, except maybe add a little bit of social media into the Oculus Rift, but that was eventually going to come anyways. I mean, wouldn't you want to tweet about fucking your waifu? I'm sorry, do you guys see that image?
I could see that happening in 3D, and then suddenly you
It's already happened.
To open up. I could see this like in sort of a Metroid Prime-ish interface.
It's already happened. There was like a Facebook image where a guy posted a picture from his Oculus of like Miku, and he's like, "I just fucked my waifu," and his mom goes, "He's like, awesome, son. What's a waifu?" But anyways, what side are you guys on with the whole Facebook investing in Oculus?
There's a little, it's kind of hard for me to determine. On one hand, it is something that is supposed to be funded by other people, but then again, when you look at it, it started off as a project that needed funding, and in the end, while there are many people, I'm sure, have funded for the Oculus Rift, they see this opportunity that this one company apparently wants to see this happen, so hey, here's a bunch of money to make it happen. And it's like, cool, okay, cool. So, honestly, maybe I'm leaning towards the whole Facebook deal, because by the end of the day, as long as Facebook isn't like totally taken over anything, they're not making any deals, like you have to make Facebook only stuff, which is not happening, thankfully, then I don't see that big of a deal out of it.
I think one of the big things is people are like, always the potential, because now Facebook owns them. So what if Facebook decides this is the direction you're going in? I mean, people have a reason to be cautious. I mean, look what happened to Rare.
Oh yeah.
Now they make fucking Kinect games. Like,
and they get to watch in horror as they watch some shitty Western developer make Killer Instinct and somehow make a better game than they could.
Yep.
it's pretty bad when you're known for the last game you were known for making was Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah, and that was not a very good mark on the Banjo-Kazooie fan community. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as say it's a terrible game. It's, well, Corn and Blondie, but it just wasn't good for the fans.
But yeah, like, I honestly still think it's kind of overreacting. People wanting their Kickstarter money back, really? Because Facebook bought them?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I will have to agree.
Yeah, I mean, then again, people tend to overreact when it comes to situations like this, but the best we can do is just approach this with caution. I mean, as long as they don't do what, you know, like say, oh, let's just make the games only for Facebook, as long as that doesn't happen, then I don't have any problem with it.
I personally don't see that, but it's not something that could potentially happen, so I can see the risk, but still, like, it's pretty out there. Unreal, you've been pretty quiet. What do you think?
Let's see. It's more or less we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, I'm not exactly fond with the idea right now, but maybe when it's, you know, finally released, whenever that may be, we'll see if it actually stays true to its original intentions or if it gets fucked over. That's really all I can say on it. It's just probably wasn't a great choice, but we'll see what happens.
Right. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. And the last story I have, god damn it, Scott.
Even though you said the last story was the last story.
No, the second last one. The last one I have is this one, which I pretty much talked in detail in the chat the other day about. But Capcom cutting their earnings forecast in half due to poor mobile sales. All I have to say here is, if you remember, I don't know if we talked about this, but if you guys remember, Capcom decided we're going to take all the money, all the profit we made off of Monster Hunter 4, our best-selling franchise, and put it all into a mobile game studio. Now, here was my initial thoughts. This is stupid. My second thoughts, after talking it over with some people, like my brother and whatnot, this might be a smart idea, because then they're not making their in-house people who make AAA games make the fucking mobile games, like Rockman Crossover. I cannot escape that game. It exists.
There's also
the Mega Man X port for iOS.
I was going to bring that out.
Don't even get me started on that thing with microtransactions. But now they're losing that money because they want to go into smartphone stuff. Okay, I'm just going to say this out here. Capcom, you can't make games anymore. It's obvious you can't make games anymore. The best games you've made in the last year were outsources.
Well, to be fair, didn't they, oh wait, no. When did Revelations come out?
Didn't it come out in 2012 originally?
Yeah.
Like, the best
I
games...
can't think of a game.
Exactly. Like, the best games they've had released were outsources.
Like DuckTales Remastered.
DuckTales Remastered and Strider are the two that come to mind. Now, they still are publishing good games, but that doesn't mean that they're making money. So...
Well, they also got Monster Hunter 4 released, and also don't forget the latest Ace Attorney game, Dual Destinies, was released last year, and I liked it.
Dual Destinies finally came out over here. And
download only, no physical copy.
No physical copy. Monster Hunter 4 only in Japan so far, and we're not getting Ultimate until 2015.
Yeah.
So like the only game they can make right now is fucking Monster Hunter. That's not gonna tank. But that's not tanking in Japan. Monster Hunter's still niche over here. Monster Hunter's bigger than it's ever been here now, but it's still like
kind of niche.
It's still kind of niche, like, and the biggest thing is because Capcom wants that Call of Duty money. They want to turn their franchises into something that will make money every year. And
it's the direction of the Resident Evil series.
And yeah, like, that's just one example. And they are slowly but surely killing themselves because they're risking everything to get that money. They want it so bad that they're willing to do stupid things like advertise in fashion magazines, of all things.
Why?
So they can get that.
Oh hey, did you read that issue of Maxim magazine and notice that Resident Evil advertisement that's inside? Wait, none of you guys did? Well, I didn't either, so I thought you guys were fans of Resident Evil.
Can we just say for the fact that Capcom is probably never going to learn from their mistakes?
Well, here's something that I thought of that, again, I'm talking Review Tech USA again, that made a lot of sense. And he actually said this about Nintendo, not about Capcom. Nintendo needs new management right now, because the Wii U's not doing so well. The 3DS is doing pretty well, but the Wii U is not doing so well. The Wii U is a really good system, but it doesn't have that many games right now still. It's been out for a couple of years, and people still don't know it's a new console. They still don't know it's a new console.
They consider it a Wii update.
I talk to other gamers in stores. They don't know what the Wii U is. These are people who play video games on a regular basis. They don't know what the Wii U is. I was talking to a guy in a store yesterday about what his favorite games were. What of the 3 new consoles he owned. And he said, there's 3? I'm like, well, yeah. There's the Xbox One, the PS4, and the Wii U. He's like, oh, I thought that was an attachment for the Wii. Dead silence. I just walked away because I was like, great. Like, doesn't matter. Like, okay, that's Nintendo. Capcom needs the same thing. They need new management. Their CEOs, I'm pretty sure it's their CEOs, are killing them because they're greedy. They want that money. They're not gonna get that money, but they're gonna try, and they're gonna die.
They just need like a cleanup of management, basically.
Unreal. Being the guy in here who reviewed the worst Resident Evil game ever made,
Actually,
How does this make you
there's
feel?
probably still worse Resident Evil games in the world.
Okay, one of the worst Resident Evil games ever made that's now $5 new. How does this make
Still too expensive, by the way.
How does this whole thing make you feel?
Let's see. You know, just give me Monster Hunter 4 and go out of business.
That's basically what I said too. After Monster
Pretty much.
After Monster Hunter 4, after Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and Monster Hunter Freedom Online, if that even gets finished, comes out here, they can just go die because I no longer care about anything they make.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Yeah, Monster Hunter 4, I want that, and just give me the crossover to Professor Layton and Ace Attorney, and I probably won't ask for anything else because, oh yeah, by the way, about the Miles Ezra 2 game, that's being fan translated, so I don't need your help on that, Capcom.
Yeah, why the fuck isn't the crossover out yet? Didn't that get announced like 2 years ago?
It's even out in the UK.
Why is it not out here?
I don't know, but it's gonna be released sometime in 2014. They just didn't give us official release date as to when this year.
All they have to do is like change the format of the game.
It's translated. It's already translated.
All the work's done. Why the fuck is it not out here yet?
Okay, look, I get that Professor Layton games tend to come out first in the UK than here, but why is it taking so long for it to come here? Why is that?
They're advertising new Professor Layton games right now, and not fucking, not that crossover game. That should have been out already.
Yeah,
Like,
what the hell? The new Professor Layton game just got released like a month ago or 2 weeks or weeks ago, and I have it. Well, recent
Yet the
pickups.
crossover still isn't out yet. So,
Okay.
what
So,
the
yeah.
fuck, Capcom?
Okay, so just give me Monster Hunter, give me the crossover, and fucking die.
Essentially,
What I can say is that it's surprised. I'm not sure if I should be surprised at all about all these compound of problems with Capcom. I mean, without going into great detail, there's what number of problems have there been for Capcom? Like, everyone help me out here.
well, when they shifted the Resident Evil games with 5 to being more action-based, when they started outsourcing to developers who didn't have enough experience for franchises they needed,
They were
That's
very
probably-
cheap.
The
Yeah.
whole DMC reboot beat debacle.
DMC reboot, fucking cancellation of 4 Mega Man games, 3, with Capcom USA being the only one to release a decent Mega Man game that was originally a fan game. Though it's still an official title, I know people will argue that, but Capcom paid the guy to finish it, so technically it's an official title, and I'll stand by that. But it was Capcom USA that released that, not the main company.
Basically, publisher.
They published it, so let's see, what else is they? Well, other than
Their huge focus on DLC, because that's going to help them out of their rut.
their main every time they make an update on
Their
how
DLC fish. That's basically
every time here's a good one. Every time they make an update on how they're going to increase their profits, it's always a bad strategy as soon as you hear what it is. What was it? First time they said we're focusing on DLC. Second time they're like, we're going to take all our profits from Monster Hunter and make mobile games. What else is there? We're gonna have exclusive characters in only one in all versions except one version of Street Fighter Cross Tekken or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh
Now,
yeah.
the funny
Street
thing
Fighter
about-
Cross Tekken.
The funny thing about that is that the characters are actually on the disc, and they still insist that it's not,
Even though you can probably get a cheat device and find the characters.
which is exactly what people did.
On this DLC, let's see, releasing more upgrades of Street Fighter 4 when they said Super was the only version just for nostalgia's sake. Releasing completely fucking up Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for anybody who bought the game day one.
Myself included.
And I've I've told this story a lot of times. I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I pre-ordered Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and bought it day one. I paid $70 for that game. 2 months later, all that DLC and updates they promised, like spectator mode, they said they were releasing into Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I basically said, fuck you, I'm not buying any games brand new from you for at least a year. I can't, I still refuse to buy Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because...
I haven't bought it either because
Because I still feel that should have gone into the game I fucking already bought.
I used my vanilla copy of MVC3 as a reminder to not buy Ultimate MVC3, well, in new condition-wise.
Mm-hmm. I think that was the last Capcom game I bought new, excluding Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate.
So, basically, Capcom has so many fucking problems. Why have they not gone into self-therapy yet?
They almost went fucking bankrupt. They had $150 million in the bank, which sounds like a lot of money, but for a game company that has so many big franchises, that's nothing. That's nothing. They almost went bankrupt. How have they not realized their problem?
Oh my god.
How? I don't understand. Is there, somebody has to be going to their CEO and saying, do you guys realize how badly we're doing?
And this is pretty much why Atlus is my new favorite Japanese gaming company. Capcom used to, but Atlus took over because of Capcom's fuck-ups.
Fuck, I like Capcom's games, but guys, please, do something before, every game I care about is dead.
I think we talked way too much about this.
I'm sorry, I like to, when it comes to Capcom...
We get overboard.
Because they've made so many games that I've liked, but they've also made so many stupid decisions in just 10 short years.
And we just get really offended by, their fuck-ups.
But that's it for the news stories I have. Unreal, you have a news story, right?
Yes, and just please do me a favor and not go 5 hours into it we did with every other news story.
Sorry, I like the time.
Then again, this doesn't make me any happier. The GameSpy's game servers are going offline at the end of May, which means hundreds of games are going to be losing online.
Well,
this includes the entire Wii library.
Holy shit, really?
That, if you remember when Nintendo announced they were shutting down their game Wi-Fi services and not the shop channel, this is why. It's because their servers ran on GameSpy's servers.
I never knew that.
There are so many games, there's a whole list you could look up of games that are just gonna lose their online, including, Red Dead Redemption. I'm serious. But to counter that, it's actually been said that a couple of developers and publishers won't be losing their online. Activision Games won't be losing online. Rockstar Games are not going to be affected, which means Red Dead might be staying up, including GTA 4 and that stuff. Capcom, I'm not sure yet. There's just a couple of them. EA hasn't said anything. And if EA does nothing, say goodbye to the good Battlefield games. You're not going to be playing those anymore.
Right. Say goodbye for Battlefield 2.
Well, then you have to consider that this is why System Link or LAN options are a great idea, and thankfully a lot of the older games do have this option, or at the very least, nowadays a lot of people have the technology to really dig into the source code of these games.
Yeah.
It's not impossible to bring them back online. With Phantasy Star, for example, you can get the PC version called Blueburst, I think, and you can still play online with that thing thanks to a fan community servers.
Mm-hmm. One thing that should be said is that I've actually heard too that GameSpy equivalent servers, server language, and servers built for it, is actually not that hard to make, especially for the older games. So that's why a lot of games that don't have online anymore, or the servers aren't that upkept anymore, have private servers that work really well. So it's not to say that a lot of these games might be alright, but it is unfortunate because GameSpy has been big in online gaming.
And they're pretty much dead now.
Yeah.
So there's pretty much nothing that's going to happen with the Nintendo stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah, consoles you're kind of screwed because a lot of them are made without being server-based only when it comes to...
Unless someone else takes over, which a couple of developers said they would, or companies, but it's not a lot, so... I'm not exactly happy with the news, but whatever.
Well, there are rare exceptions, like as I mentioned, Phantasy Star, and recently I've heard that at least the Japanese community for Resident Evil Outbreak had actually been able to reverse engineer online servers and make them playable again. So there can be exceptions, and the worst case scenario you could probably do to revive online is maybe just pay for a private server for someone to host it for you.
They're just not going to go through the effort.
Or just find a fan community server and just...
It just all depends on how strong the fan community is on said game.
I'm pretty sure you're still going to play Battlefield 2 online. It just won't be through GameSpy.
Okay.
Hopefully. Because if it went offline, then they should remove it from Steam. But I'm pretty sure EA wouldn't be stupid enough to not do anything with it. Right? But whatever.
Well, it's EA, so...
I mean, this affects me because just when I saw Unreal Tournament on that list, my heart sank. Like, oh my god. It should be okay, but it's still not good.
No, Unreal Tournament will be okay. Like,
No, it's not. There hasn't been a new game since, like, 2007 or 8.
Oh, no, but I mean for servers. Like, I've talked to... One of my old bosses said he used to run a UT 2004 server in his house, and it had no lag between anybody who wanted to play on, so...
Well, Unreal Tournament 3 is getting affected, but not a lot of people are going to miss it, but I'm like one of the few that might if I ever actually played online on it. But, yeah, and I have it on PC and PS3, but my PC's not powerful enough to run it great unless I turn everything down, and I just don't think it's worth it if I do that.
Well...
But that's all I got on that.
And that does it for the news. So, next, let's go into upcoming releases. I'm just going to go through the stuff for April because we all know the good stuff's coming out in May anyways. So, anyways, first for the Xbox One, do you guys know what this could be?
No, nothing.
It's made by one of our favorite developers.
No.
Capcom?
No, it's Kinect Sports Rivals.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Rare.
It was already out.
It's made by Rare.
It says here
Rare.
April 8th, so...
In other words, we're making this while you guys make Killer Instinct. Fuck our lives.
Alright, and then...
All the good guys from Rare are gone.
Also on that day for Windows, Mac, and PSN, not Xbox Live for some reason... Well, that's the next day. Episode 3 of The Wolf Among Us, which I heard a lot of controversy for the second episode, so I don't know.
All I know is a Telltale game. I've never played it.
And then also on the 8th for the Xbox 360, finally getting Titanfall.
No one cares.
No one cares.
I may get the PC version, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but prepare for Origin.
Whatever.
Alright.
It'd be better than paying for Xbox Live.
Something that might make CJ happy, on April 14th, Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn for the PS4.
Again. Time to start Ogre.
Alright, so I'm grazing through the ones that don't matter. For Windows, on the 25th, Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
So, PC's finally getting in. And for Wii U, something that I know at least one person's going to be excited for, NES Remix 2.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm waiting for next month.
Something that, and the last one I want to talk about for this month is something that I might pick up, and I have a feeling that Shadow, you might pick this one up. For the PS3, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle.
Oh, that wasn't the game I was referring to, but I'll consider it because, hey, I like a good anime fighter here and there.
JoJo's is also a crazy show, so that's it for April. Should I delve into May then, since that was it, or?
Well, there's actually one other game in April that you probably forgot, which it's for Japanese RPG fans. Conception 2.
Oh yeah, I saw that on here. I didn't know what it was. It's coming out for 3DS and PS Vita. So yeah, well, that's it for April of anything that's important. So yeah. So
not a lot to comment on these releases.
Yeah, all the good stuff's coming out in May. So, like Oni's favorite game, Peggle 2 for Xbox Live Arcade.
Lame.
All right, that's it. Okay, so let's talk about recent pickups, and I'm going to flip this deck box. Shadow, you go first.
Okay. All right. Let's see. For Vita, I got like 3 games. I got the Vita version of Dragon's Crown, and I got Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc.
That gosh dang Rampa.
And let's see. I got this Monster Hunter clone called Tokiden: The Age of Demons.
Oh, that game is so good. I want it. I want to Vita just for that game.
Oh yeah, another Vita game I forgot to mention. Yeast Memories of Celestia. I think it's. I can't pronounce the last word. I'm sorry.
Celestia.
Celestia. Okay. Okay, for 3DS, I got 2 games: Professor Layton and the Azran Legacy, and Bravely Default. And for PS3, I ended up getting BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma, and lastly, South Park: The Stick of Truth. I remember getting a couple games on Steam, but I just can't remember what they were. Oh wait, I remember. I got Payday 2 on Steam when it was on sale.
Oh, cool.
All right.
And that's about it for me.
All right. Unreal?
Ah, fuck. I'm probably just gonna do everything I got in March.
Yeah.
I'm gonna omit a couple of things because they're not like. Yeah, I'm just gonna omit a couple of things, but I'll list main ones. Dark Souls 2.
Alright.
Which I beat.
In a week.
It's not that. Oh my god, you're. Just a week, such an accomplishment. Wow.
Well, considering when I get a new game, I still haven't beaten Bioshock Infinite.
Hey, there's a couple of games that have been sitting here. I have Fallout New Vegas. Haven't started. Get out of here. I also picked up Twilight Princess for the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
Right. I also picked up a PS2 game called Kill Switch. It's a cover-based shooter that probably not a lot of people heard about. You know, before Gears happened. I also picked up Quake 2 for the PlayStation, Chrono Cross for the PlayStation. Also picked up GTA Vice City Stories for the PSP. I've been like playing that on and off. And I also picked up for the N64 Hexen. Jordan knows about that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have Blockbuster stickers all over it. Yeah. And, oh Jesus, Mission Impossible for the N64. Dun, 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 dun. Keep in mind, both of these N64 games I got them for free because I bought the other games, like, in total. like, and shit. So
Buy 2, get 1 free type of deal.
well, buy 3, get 1 this price and under. And both of those games were cheap enough that at least I'm not paying money for it. But again, there were other games that I'm just not gonna list for reasons. But
Right. Alright, well, I guess I'll go. Okay, so other than gifts for conventions, I'm gonna mostly stick to March too, but before that, I was given by my friend Josh, all for the 360, Assassin's Creed 2, Grand Theft Auto 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and Brutal Legend.
and Call of Duty Modern Warfare
Call of Duty
2.
Modern Warfare 2. I now own 3 copies of that game that I'll never play.
1v1, you
trade it in.
faggot.
Yeah, well, the reason he gave them to me is because he couldn't trade them in. I'm like, I'll find somebody who wants Call of Duty, so...
Zero, 1v1 me faggot right now.
It's
You have Xbox Live.
It's for Xbox 360 and I don't have Live right now.
How did... Good job, you just took my live and wasted it.
I used it for something useful.
Okay.
Okay, I also picked up Tales of Symphonia Chronicles.
I forgot to mention that.
I got the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy for $10 new on the PS3.
Nice.
I got Trackmania Build to Race for the Wii. Okay, so that's that. On PSN, I got Cloudberry Kingdom for like $1.50. I got another game too, but I can't remember the name of it. Some sword fighting side scroller. It'll come to me. Speaking of games that were $1.50, Danny Koo bought me Tiny Brains, even though I said I would buy it for myself, and she insisted. She wouldn't take no for an answer, so I'm not going to say no to the people who draws art for me, so yeah. And when I was at Value Village the other day, I picked up a couple games as well. For 50 cents each on the Game Boy, I got NBA All-Star Challenge and Chase HQ. And for $3 on the PS2, or sorry, on the GameCube, what's that say? The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. And on the PS2, World Championship Paintball.
Go paintballing.
So that's about it, with some other things I don't want to reveal yet because they're potential reviews, so, and gifts. So, Angel, you're the only person who hasn't gone yet, so go for it.
Alright, well, I got a ton of different shit. First of all, I got myself the PlayStation Move Sharpshooter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty nice assault rifle accessory. Way, way better than the Wii Zapper. I mean, like, by a million. It's way better. And I've been playing some more light gun games with it, actually. I tried to... Just gotta name one I bought recently. House of the Dead Overkill Extended Cut on PS3, which is actually not a bad version. I found myself having more fun with that than typing at the Dead Overkill. And let's see, other things I got. I went ahead and got the Killzone trilogy for PlayStation 3 since it was only like $30 brand new. The funny thing about that, though, is that it included a voucher for the Killzone 2 and 3 downloadable maps, except for some reason it gave me Killzone HD, which was already included on the disc. So it's like I got 2 copies of the game. I went ahead and called Sony support about it, and they're going to get me a new code in it.
Well,
probably today. Anyway.
Hopefully they'll let you keep that digital one. You can just gift that to somebody.
Too bad I already redeemed it. Oops.
Did you download it?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was about to say, I redeemed something on Xbox. Actually, like, I put in a code, and then declined it, and I was able to put the code in again and accept it. So, I don't know if PS3 works that way. It's probably different, but Maybe if you didn't go through the whole thing, you probably would have been able to just give it away, but nope.
Yeah. But, you know, I got the first and third game, so yay. Let's see.
Where's number 2?
Well, 2 is included. I just happen to already own a copy of 2.
Okay.
Yeah, now I got 2 copies, so I can bring another. I could have a friend with a PS3 come over and play the game together when servers are dead. Hey, what do you mean there's no system link option? Fucking Guerrilla Games.
Oh, there's bots. Much better.
I like your games, Guerrilla, but don't take away my local multiplayer option. Fuck you. Even the Vita game can't do local.
Hey, at least they're smart enough to have bots in their games, unlike, you know, other.
Which is not on the Vita game, unfortunately. So.
Oh, that's lame.
Very lame. Anyway, let's see. I'm pretty sure I got some other things on Steam and on PS3, maybe Wii. I don't recall everything. I also got Art of Fighting Anthology for PS2.
Cool.
Yeah. And I was attending to Mizumi Con a couple of weeks ago when I participated in, kind of sort of participated in Video Game Jeopardy. I was the audience and got the most tickets out of everyone. I even answered the final question about what was the first rare game on an Xbox console, and I was the only one to guess Grab Out of Ghoulies. And
I was going to guess that too, but they just called you first.
Grabbed by my ghoulies? No, damn it, God!
and that won me a free prize. I went ahead and grabbed a generic fight stick, so I got that too. And there's a bunch of other things I've gotten, those of which I plan on doing a plug and play on someday. One last main thing I should mention is Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, which, with my luck with finding certain games recently, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to take any chances, and I'm probably going to regret not buying it, so I just went ahead and bought it. Now, as far as having all the important Metal Gear Solid games, it does include them. That's Metal Gear 1, 2, Solid, Solid 2, Solid 3, Solid 4, and Peace Walker, as well as the graphic novel. The graphic novels based on Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, which are fully English dubbed.
I have a question, since you know a lot about Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Is there a collection out there where you don't have to play Metal Gear Solid 3 to unlock the MSX games? Because I like the MSX games, but I don't really want to play through Metal Gear Solid 3 just to play them.
They're unlocked by default, dude.
Oh, are they?
Even the original PS2 release, you can play them on a second disc. There's not even the actual MGS3 game on a second disc other than boss battles.
Hold on, I gotta hook up my PS2.
So you done fucked up there.
Well,
You done fucked
I
up there,
got the PS2 collection that came out, which actually comes with the PS1 version of Metal Gear Solid.
If you got the Essentials collection, then yeah, you're fucked. Because Metal Gear 1 and 2 are not included in that collection. Because they use only disc 1, and Subsistence is a 2-disc game.
Fuck me, I don't know. I have to double check it.
Metal Gear Solid HD collection, thankfully, has Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake included. And the Legacy collection, it basically just has the HD collection as the second disc.
I think we're getting off topic about what we're actually supposed to be talking
Right,
about.
my point is, you could technically collect all the Metal Gear games on PlayStation 3. Although you can technically collect more of them if you go with a Vita, except portable ops just kind of suck. But that's pretty much all I have.
That's it? You didn't get anything else?
Like I said, I'm pretty sure I have a bunch of other things, which, now that I think about it, I also got Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Wait,
and
which version?
PS3.
Fuck. Nobody has the Wii U version.
I mainly got the PS3 version because there's this one accessory I have which works wonderfully with PlayStation 3. I also got Persona 4 Arena, Sonic Sega Genesis Collection, and Midway Arcade Origins, which is basically Arcade Treasures 1 and 2 from PS2 put together.
Right.
Minus the Mortal Kombat games. And I guess that's it.
Alright. Well, that leads us to our discussion topic. Reboots. Not remakes.
Reboots. As
Or
in
the
starting-
show reboot.
I don't know for sure,
in-
but I intend to find out. Reboot.
As in starting this franchise all over again.
So, when I think of a reboot, I like to usually think about really good ones, like, that really restarted the whole, like, basically a series got to a point where it's like, okay, making a sequel's pointless, so let's start over. The one that comes to mind most recent for me is the Donkey Kong Country series.
Oh yeah, those could be considered reboots.
Because I own the original 3. I actually own, if some people consider Donkey Kong 64 a country game, because it was in the Rareware trilogy thing.
Don't tell Foffy.
And I'll admit, when I first got Returns, I did not like it that much, because I'm like, this is too different for me. But after playing it, I'm like, you know what? I kind of like the changes they made. And Tropical Freeze, oh my god, it's so good! Like, seriously, Tropical Freeze is amazing. And I felt bad for not playing Returns for so long, because I just recently beat it, and I'm like, this was a really good game. Why the fuck did I not play this sooner? But, yeah, so, and then there's bad reboots, like, Bionic Commando.
That one's very question. That one, are you ready to get into a debate with that one, dude?
I'm
Well,
saying it's
as
bad
far as
because
I'm
the controls are stupid.
Well,
They're not
say
that
Get
bad.
ready for a debate. It's gonna happen.
the only thing I can say about that is like it did not help Capcom financially, even if you liked it or not.
Okay, let's get on one.
That is, I agree with.
Let's get on one. A Capcom reboot we can all agree on that wasn't that good. DMC.
Oh god.
Good
Yeah,
gameplay, fun game, terrible story, terrible.
Terrible everything else.
Terrible character, like that game is just
If it had been a side scroller made in 1995, I'd have been okay with it. But
Nope, that wouldn't help anything.
Yeah,
not to mention like it was just handled so poorly with the community. Like ultimately it just felt like a big fuck you to the dedicated DMC fans who patiently waited for a good successor to the Devil May Cry series. Yes, Devil May Cry 4 had its, flops or whatever, but it wasn't really bad, it just felt safe.
well, before then, people would tell me that the worst DMC game was 2.
Which, it is gameplay-wise, because it's very bad and very boring to play.
Just shoot the bosses.
Yes, that's all you fucking do! It's embarrassing, like, it's not even the type of game that you can even riff with friends, because you're just gonna fall asleep so poorly at it. Okay, but going back on topic on the DMC reboot, yes, it's better gameplay wise than DMC 2, but ultimately I feel like the gameplay took a lot of steps backwards, because it just didn't feel that challenging and as it should be, because I just felt very underwhelmed. Let's put it that way.
Unreal, what's a good reboot you can think of?
The TV show.
God damn it.
Well, funny enough, the TV show actually has a video game for the PlayStation.
Yeah, I know about it.
A good reboot. I thought I had one. God damn it, I can't even think of one now.
You wouldn't call the Modern Warfare franchise a reboot technically, right? Because
No.
it sort of is a sequel that became its own franchise.
Yeah, that's not a reboot. I wouldn't count. This is. You probably took the ones I could think of.
It's hard to think right now.
Yeah, I know. Crap. Give me a sec.
Sure.
I'm just looking at my games and maybe I own a reboot.
While he's thinking,
Tomb
Angel.
Raider.
Oh, Tomb Raider. Yes.
I don't care about Tomb Raider, but that is an example of a
Mhm.
I was actually going to bring that up too. I know we were pretty skeptical at first, but it turned out to be a really good game. I happen to own the PC version.
Yeah,
I tried it out a bit.
It's not just a reboot though. It's kind of a requel. It's a prequel and a reboot. Sort of. Because the original Tomb Raider It takes place before the original Tomb Raider, doesn't it?
I think you mean the new one.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just establishing itself a new storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was talking with a friend, but technically this isn't the first time that Tomb Raider got rebooted. I think this is like the second, but I haven't played all the Tomb Raider games, so I would have to, play all of them to see where he's going at with this. But apparently, I would just go as far as say that Tomb Raider, the new game, whether you like it or not, it's an example of what it's a good example of what a reboot is.
Yeah, the only downside is that they had to force multiplayer into it, and guess what? Nobody wants to play it.
They try to expand on it with the definitive version, which, yeah, good luck with that because nobody likes that fucking multiplayer.
I heard that the main thing I heard about that game when it got announced or when it came out was people who were PCLAs were saying, "Look at all the fucking teraflops on her hair." I was like, okay.
Okay.
Teraflops.
Nipple flops.
Again, I don't think I'd call these things reboots, what I'm about to say, because I don't think they count. It really is hard to think. Resident Evil 4, maybe.
It kind of is.
Or Metroid Prime. Again, it's hard for me to classify those as reboots.
Well, it's kind of hard to...
But they're kind of different from every other part of the franchise.
It's more of a change of direction. So
yeah, it's just a different it's just a change of direction. The Prime series is actually part of the Metroid timeline. Well, not until...
It is.
Well,
no, it is.
Yeah. But, I think... Didn't they, take them out of the timeline after when Metroid Other M came out?
No, they're still there.
Okay. I haven't played the first two games in the series, but would BioShock Infinite be considered a reboot?
No, it's a prequel.
No.
It's a prequel?
No, it's a fuck off. It just takes place everywhere at the same time.
Oh, okay.
I don't even...
Is it the same character though? Cause
no, it is not.
No, it's just it's a different storyline, different character. I'm just looking up random top 5 lists of reboots. For some odd reason. Oh, what was that one game that was strategy based or something? Crap it, the name escaped me.
Syndicate.
Oh, here's another reboot.
No.
XCOM?
XCOM, yes.
Oh yeah.
There was a good one called XCOM Enemy Unknown, or what was it called? Enemy.
Yeah, Enemy Unknown. And then there's
Okay.
a shitty FPS one that actually doesn't use the XCOM name. It uses
that
subtitle.
doesn't exist anymore. That came out as XCOM Declassified.
Yeah.
But
That's what I was saying.
Which taking nobody really cared much for it.
Yeah, it's a Mass Effect ripoff from what I've heard.
Okay,
So- That was memorable.
here's a couple of others that could be considered reboots. The Alone in the Dark game that killed everything. And fuck you anyway.
What about the Medal of Honor game by EA?
Oh, yeah, fuck that.
That's a shitty. Fuck.
Now, the main thing with this discussion I would like to talk about is that would reboots be considered a good and bad thing? Because we've had good examples and we had bad examples. My take on it is that it depends on how it's handled. Because you gotta admit, rebooting something that's well established, well known, is a big risk. It's a big leap of faith. And if you have the most devoted of fan bases, then you're going to run into some trouble, like with what DMC and Tomb Raider did, for example.
And maybe Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
Yeah,
that's a reboot.
yeah. And but depending on how well it's handled, if you try to help fans ease into it, maybe make a nice nods or something like that. The main thing is, how is it executed? Is it worthy of the franchise having a new image? Is it worthy of people associating the name they're familiar with the brand new image that they came out for it.
I just actually thought of a good one, just fighting games in general. I know everybody calls it MK9, but Mortal Kombat's pretty much a reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
You know what? That pretty much is.
And then there's
It's a very good one.
and a more recent one that is debated on, Killer Instinct.
Oh, yeah,
No,
Killer
that's
Instinct
a
is
straight up sequel.
Wait,
But
what?
it's just called Killer Instinct.
Yeah, but it's continuing off the second game.
It continues off KI Gold.
Or KI2.
Pretty much, because there's one connection where in Kill Instinct 2, you technically have a different Glacius, and then the original Glacius returns in a new game.
But you've got Killer Instinct, then Killer Instinct 2, then Killer Instinct. I'm chronologically confused.
I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that's a sequel.
Well, who knows with that one.
So, when it comes to reboots, you're taking this huge risk, and like I said, there are bad ways of handling it, DMC, and good ways of handling it, like Tomb Raider.
And Mortal Kombat 9.
There's also really, really bad ways to handle it. A good, quote-unquote, good example of how to really do a terrible reboot, Bomberman Act Zero.
Oh my Jesus! I forgot about that game. That's so memorable, right? Now that
I want to puke. So
okay.
badly.
Now that's a poor example of example of execution. You got the familiar Bomberman gameplay, but
They got everything else wrong. Let's make it dark and gritty.
That's the thing, too, because it reminds me of the front packaging for the NES Bomberman before it actually had Bomberman on it. It had like a Metroid style or a guy on it. And they were like, let's do that. And
So what I would have to ask is, so you want to take that cutesy image of Bomberman that's known for having fun multiplayer, and you want to associate it with a bunch of BDSM robots.
would you guys say that's
Woman.
Would you guys say that was the beginning of the end for Hudson, or was that Bloody Roar 4?
I think that was the beginning and ending for Hudson when they released that shit reboot.
I don't know. They still made Bomberman games after that. Thankfully, not using the reboot image. They went back to the original image. Thank goodness, and released it on all platforms, including Steam, I believe. Or am I thinking Xbox Live? I know it's on Xbox. I know it's on Xbox Live, PSN, and WiiWare.
And there's also another bad reboot, Golden Axe Beast Rider.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard that one wasn't very good.
Why? Because it had nothing to fucking do with Golden Axe?
But like the whole deal with reboots is, again, you need to like make sure you know what you're doing and make sure it at least is respectable to the source. If you completely change the image and make everything like really worse, then it'll be a disgrace. But if you do some good ideas and keep it recognizable, then it's fine. But there's always a gray area, like in the middle, where it's just like, it's okay, but that, I don't know, rarely happens. Hell, Prince of Persia got rebooted twice, if you think about it.
Yeah, it did.
There was
yeah.
like the side scrollers, and then there was Sands of Time.
And then Prince of Persia 08, which never gets a sequel.
Was it really bad?
No.
It wasn't bad. It just didn't get the reception that Ubisoft wanted.
The game has no challenge. Like, you can't die in that game. Let's put it in perspective.
Yeah. It did receive a related game on DS, though. That's about it.
Oh yeah, I've actually played the demo of that.
Now here's a bad reboot I know you guys haven't heard of. Altered Beast for PlayStation 2.
It got canceled.
I remember that. I think that was like on Screw Attack's top 10, one of their top 10 lists. But
Yeah, that only came out in UK. Never.
wait, I think it was an actual sequel, not a reboot.
No, it's a reboot because it took place in a completely different setting. It has a completely different backstory.
Final Fight Streetwise.
And it says right here that instead of serving as a sequel, the new title features a more modern setting that is unconnected to the original game. So we could safely assume it's a reboot, and a terrible one at that.
Okay. We can't say
because of this one, unlike the original Altered Beast, where it's all Greek mythology, this one's about science experiments. In other words, we created a T-virus. Or some shit like that.
Living death, zombies.
And that's how men become werewolves.
And because of you abusing that clip, Angel, and now becomes the joke, have you gone to Zombie 2013?
But yeah, there are good examples or bad examples. Execution is key.
By that, I think if you think about it, there's more bad reboots than there are good ones. I mean, there's a lot of good remakes, just remakes and reboots are completely different. Just gotta keep that in mind.
Does anyone have their own take on the whole subject matter?
Reboots can be done good, but they just you have to think about it carefully, because if you just tread this with all guns blazing, the DMC reboot did, then you're gonna have some problems with the community and everything. I know reboots are never gonna 100% satisfy everyone. I get that, but it's just a challenging thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be done. You just need to take your time on it, and you just gotta tread carefully with it. You also had to be respectful to the source material.
I think the thing with reboots is, if I can say, is you have to ask yourself two questions when you start. One, has the series gotten stale enough that it is necessary? And two, what would a sequel to the series, what would a reboot do instead of another sequel for the franchise? And if you can justify those two questions to make a reboot, do it. But if you're just doing it to revive an old franchise, you might as well just make a new sequel to the old franchise. It just is common sense. I mean, this isn't a series that's been rebooted a lot, but it has tons of serious Mega Man. Technically Mega Man X was a reboot, but it was also a sequel. It's like a requel. Anyways, but that's just an example. Once the Capcom got done with one series of sequelitis, they moved on to the next Mega Man series and ran it into the ground until it stopped making money. So, basically, if you're gonna do a reboot, make sure that you can achieve something that you couldn't with another sequel.
Mm-hmm. I got a question to y'all here. How do you feel about Resident Evil being rebooted? Do you think it's necessary, or do you think it could deal with another sequel?
Sequelitis is hitting its course. Unless it's able to roll with the story it has, which Resident Evil 6 is doing a fine good job of making it much more convoluted than it needs to be. The family was behind everything ever since the first game. What?
I still want them to put Barry and Ark into the new games.
At least make a sequel where Resident Evil has way too many characters, and some of them don't even have the closure that us fans really want. Especially Barry.
I was gonna say, did they introduce a few new characters in Resident Evil 6? I was
yes.
Why not just use some of the ones you haven't used in a while, like Ark? Nobody knows who he is anyways, so.
But he's probably not even a good character anyway.
I can understand some characters you don't want to reuse, but come on, Barry's got a big fan base, and I'm sure there's plenty. And I'm sure there's at least a lot of fangirls that want to see something with Billy Cullen, or maybe, what's his name, Carlos?
I'm pretty sure some people want to see Rebecca Chambers back.
Maybe not.
And it was even mentioned in Darkside Chronicles that Wesker, both Darkside Chronicles and Code Veronica, that Wesker actually obtained Steve Burnside to use for experimentation. So. Maybe something can come out of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got plenty of other things to work with. Why keep compounding the story and making it even more complicated by saying we have a completely different group of people who are suddenly introduced that that was never mentioned until right now, that they were behind the events of what happened in the Arkley Mountains over a decade ago.
The problem with Resident Evil is that I didn't find the villains or the villain in Resident Evil 6 to be interesting at all. Like, who's the villain in 6? Like, some guy named Simmons?
But we're getting offhand.
Yeah.
I guess the big question is it necessary for a reboot? I would go with what Zero suggested for a criteria. And I would have to say that if there's no way you can if you can't make a comeback into what the games were to begin with, or at least try not to make it like Call of Duty in a way, then I would say reboot.
And I think the team has expressed that they want to reboot Resident Evil instead of making more sequels because they realize it's running its course. Like, I don't know. I remember when they announced Resident Evil 6, and I was just like, didn't 5 just come out a couple years ago? Like, isn't it a little soon? Who's gonna be in it? They
released like in 6 they also released Revelations and Operation Raccoon City in the same freaking year. So it was like 3 major Resident Evil titles, which ironically Revelations was the best out of the 3. And that was a handheld game at first. But as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, as far as the story is concerned, it's gonna get very convoluted with the way the writing is going, and I just have a feeling that's gonna be the case. So I hate to say it, but I think Resident Evil kind of does need to be rebooted.
Well, I think with that basically should pretty much be it. Remake or reboots. If you're going to do it, make sure there's a good reason for it. And with that, we move into viewer question. And this question comes from our usual Akaga.
Wait, how can it count? He's part of the site now.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll post questions every freaking week.
Okay, cool.
No.
His question was, what are some of your favorite video game soundtracks?
Killer Cuts.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh.
Is he just talking about, like, released on CD, or just, like, you know...
I think he means in general. Well, okay. All I can say is, what's my favorite game franchise?
Mega Man.
How many games have good music? Mostly all of them.
Yeah. Essentially, our favorite video game soundtracks are essentially the games that we really, really like. Like, I love the Shin Megami Tensei games, specifically the Persona games, so I love their soundtracks. The Devil May Cry soundtracks I like. Essentially, just pretty much a lot of Capcom soundtracks are my favorite, along with, Rare's Killer Cuts. Which, I'll admit, Killer Cuts is my favorite fighting game soundtrack ever.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that Rare did back in the day was good too, like the entire Donkey Kong Country series. Oh, so good.
Yeah. I have way too many favorites to list, so I'm just gonna list some that I jog to. Not just Killer Cuts. I mainly listen to the soundtrack of Kill Instinct 2. Mainly because there's a few favorites I really love in that game, more than Killer Cuts, to be honest. The AVGN soundtrack for the game. I also really like the Payday 2 soundtrack. Especially since they keep updating it with a new track whenever they make updates to the game itself. So it's like, I get one extra music track for free because I bought the soundtrack. I love you, Overkill.
You mean Grin?
Grin.
They made Bionic Commando, remember?
I guess that's it from me.
I guess I'll go.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we're just basing this off original game soundtracks, because, like, if it was just... It seems a little vague, so I'm just going to assume it is...
You can't say rock band.
No. I meant, like, stuff. My example was gonna be like Vice City, so I'm not gonna put that in because if we're just gonna base it off original video game soundtracks, then I can't put that.
I just thought of one that you might agree with, Unreal. Arcade's Revenge.
Maybe like 2 songs total out of that, maybe 3. Well,
Is this Cyclops?
No, I like Gambits and Spider-Mans. But I really like the first Unreal Tournament soundtrack. I really like that.
Oh yeah.
Another example would actually be the soundtrack to F-Zero GX, the hardest game ever made.
Captain Falcon will always love you.
No, mine is the Sega faggotry of that. It's just funny bad, that stuff, but the actual songs for like the tracks and stuff are super good. They're really good. I actually have the Majora's Mask soundtrack, but I don't think I would count that. I haven't really listened to it, but like Zelda has great songs, but F-Zero GX and the first Unreal Tournament are definitely my 2 favorites. I can't really think of any others.
I know,
because I usually cherry pick favorite tracks from games anyway.
I know,
and I'd be here forever if I did that.
I know they're really basic, but the first 2 generations of Pokemon have really good music. Not saying that later ones don't, but its impact was less apparent when it got to the 3rd gen. But the first 2 gens of Pokemon have fantastic music.
Castlevania has some good music.
Oh yes, Castlevania.
Bloody Tears is my favorite song. Fucking Castlevania.
Like,
of course.
Some iterations, like the Super Nintendo version of Dracula X or Castlevania 4, has some good iterations of songs I like there. In fact, I use Dracula X's death fucking song anytime I play Dark Souls, so anytime I die, I just go. It works.
Alright. Trying to think, what are some other soundtracks that are like worth mentioning that I like? I did already.
The Mansion Basement from Resident Evil DualShock.
What about the you said basement, right?
Yeah, the Charlie Brown one.
I guess I could just say that most of my favorite music just comes from fighting games and JRPGs.
Like Tekken, the master of air juggling.
Well, yeah. Let's see. What's like my second favorite? Because I did say Killer Instinct soundtrack is my most favorite. Oh man, there's like so much. Probably Blaze Blue, maybe.
No Guile theme.
Okay, third place would be Street Fighter.
Smoke weed every day, daddy, smoke weed every day.
Okay, that's what I got.
Well, that's about all I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Sorry, Akago.
But I'm sure there's many more. But with that, let's get on to video updates. And I'm going to flip this knockoff Wiimote. Angel.
Let's see, about a few months overdue from making a video. Let's see, work has gotten in the way, and then work, and then work, and then work, and then work. And I've been trying to make sure I don't get fatter, so, you know. Work out. At this rate, I'm just thinking about cutting some hours just so I can make more time to work out. Anyway, I do got a new video coming soon. I just need to get more filming done and more voiceovers done, as well as collect my clips. But other than that, all I need is editing and shooting, and that's pretty much it. I also plan on getting my plug and play video in the works very soon. I could do it before, or I could do it right after this video. I'm still kind of debating on that right now. But I do have plans for one big video project I want to do. Something I've been dying to do for years. So hopefully I'll finally get around to doing that right after I get those 2 videos done. So I'm not going to say what it is yet. But let's just say this one I don't plan on slouching over. And that's basically it right now.
Alright. I'm gonna go next, because speaking of plug and play, by the time this goes up, I have my plug and play episode up on the Hip Gear Gun Con. So you can go check that out. As usual, I'm releasing weekly anime vlog reviews and weekly Henshin times. So expect those every week. And I am getting to work on my next game review as well, which is finally getting to my list of requests for games. So I'm doing that. And Under Oath Retrospective, I have no idea because I have not started work on it at all. I haven't even written a script, so that's that. And next will be Shadow.
Okay, well, I've had like a long overdue idea of a review I've been wanting, but I did have the footage and, you know, captured thanks to the, you know, the HD PVR rocket that I bought, which I barely use, but I do have the recording equipment that I want, so that's good to hear. If I can get this long overdue review, it's on Metal Gear Rising, by the way. I just, for whatever reason, I want to get my thoughts on this game out, because I like it a lot. I want to do my take on a plug and play, but I have an ideas as to what I want to do. It's most likely going to be on the Kinect, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not the type of person that collects a lot of, you know, special peripherals. I just do the bare minimum, just play games with the standard controller.
I probably gave you a good game for that.
I hate you so much.
Super Samurai. Oh.
I still need to get
okay, and the problem with me I just have like a lot of things in the way of my life, like, you know, classes, work, and just, you know, and when I just get back home, I just don't have the urge to work on video, so that's just my problem. But I just have these ideas, but I just can't bring myself to fully work on them. But I want to do at least someday, at the very least, just make a video on Metal Gear Rising, because I have the title card from Daniku, and I just want to use it for good measures. And that's pretty much it for what I got.
All right, Unreal, go for it. What's up?
No, I'm done with Power Rangers. That's great.
That's done.
The LP? Yep, all done.
Yep.
No more.
You got it done. I'm proud of you.
It's not even for the site, but that's done.
You know what that means then? You can get those Menu Madnesses done next.
Not happening, bro. Okay, well, the closest thing, like, my one goal is, before our trip in May, since we're going to Anime North in May, I want to get plug and play done, because I actually have something. I have some footage recorded, but I have to get the rest, since pretty much every other footage I need, including a script, needs to be like live action stuff. So my goal is to get that done before I go to Anime North, and hopefully I can do that. I mean, it seems like in the next coming months there isn't going to be a lot of work, because March was very busy for me for work, which helped with money, but not a lot of free time. But my main, like, review that isn't plug and play is on hold, because I want to do plug and play. Seems like, since it'll be a little bit easier and shorter to work on, if I at least want to get, you know, something out. But who knows? That's pretty much all I can go off right now.
Alright, well, we'll do the podcast. It was a very long one, and I'll have, I have a job ahead of me for it, but,
good luck.
Time to cut out half of it.
But, I think having a longer podcast is worth it, since we haven't been around for a couple months, so, we'll see what happens. But anyways, Next time, I don't know when the next podcast is going to be. I'm probably going to hand this back to SCR because he'll probably be more freed up to do it then. But if not, maybe I'll see you again soon. So, for the River City Gamers Podcast, this is Zero.
This is Unreal.
This is Shadow.
And this is AngelHalo, and I have successfully ate your lunch.
Why do you...
It's midnight.
You can't eat my lunch. My lunch already ate you.
Well, I shot up cocaine earlier. I don't mean shot up. I mean
I gotta
shot
go
it.
somewhere.
Zachary, you know your black ass owes me $50 worth of fucking cocaine.
Except Star Fox is selling, now shut the fuck up.